Monza, often known as the Temple of Speed, is one of the classic circuits left on the Formula 1 calendar. This is an extremely high speed circuit where you'll want to trim your car out with very low levels of downforce to maximise your speed along each straight. In F1 24, this is one of the first tracks I'd recommend to new players as it isn't quite as technical as others. There are a few corner sequences that balance both slow and medium speed. Despite it being one of the easier tracks to drive in F1 24, learning the perfect racing line and braking points can result in finding significant amounts of lap time. In this F1 24 track guide, I'm going to run through an entire lap of Monza, show you the best braking points, which gears to be in, and tips on learning the ideal racing line. The first corner at Monza is the slowest around an entire lap, and it's where the majority of overtaking will happen. Despite the corner apex speed being very low, there is a big potential to mess this corner up by braking ever so slightly too late, or you can lose a lot of time by braking too early. Keep an eye out for the 150 meter braking board and the upcoming 100 meter board. Slap bang in the middle of these two boards, you'll be wanting to hit the brakes at around 120 meters. Brake at full pressure while downshifting aggressively to help slow the car down faster. Just after the green strip starts on the left of the track, start to turn in while continuing to brake, but ease off your brake pedal as you rotate the car. You should be in third gear at the apex where you'll want to cut across the curb pretty aggressively. You can apply a small burst of throttle between turns 1 and 2, but not too much to break traction. Then rotate into the left-hander while applying a tiny amount of brake force. Don't cut this corner as aggressively as you did with turn 1. Try to clip it, but ultimately miss the inside orange curve. As soon as you round the apex, start to apply the throttle gradually while focusing on straightening your car. But avoid that outside curb as this will slow your acceleration, and feel free to short shift from third to fourth if you're struggling with wheel spin. Then accelerate hard through and round turn 3, which is essentially a full speed bend on the approach to turn 4. The next chicane is another slow corner sequence, although it's not quite as slow as turns 1 and 2. Keep to the far right of the track on the approach and look to start braking just before the 100 meter board. Once again, brake hard and in a straight line, downshifting to third gear. Start to rotate in towards the apex as the outside curve begins, while treading off the brake pedal, much like we did at the first corner. Try and cut the first corner as aggressively as you can without fully leaving the track, and this corner does feel a bit awkward as you bounce over that large inside curb, but trust me, it's the fastest route. Apply a small burst of throttle ahead of the right hander, where we'll once again try to cut the inside apex. Bounce over the curb and expect the rear of the car to feel loose, so be ready to correct the steering and catch any slide. As soon as you feel the tyres grip, accelerate at 100% input and shift up to fourth gear. It can sometimes be better to be a little bit cautious on the throttle here, as the outside curb is extremely narrow and you can easily drop a tyre into the dirt. Next up are the two Lesmo corners, and these are my favourite turns around Monza as they require both precision and bravery. Keep to the left of the track and brake later than you think into turn 6. I typically use the orange barrier on the left as a brake reference point. You'll want to start turning at the same time you apply around 20% brake pressure and roll your car through the corner, keeping your speed as high as possible. Stay in 6th gear all the way through while trying to get as close to the inside curb as you can without actually touching it. You can accelerate early, trusting that the corner will end, and you can use a lot of the exit curb if needed, although the green AstroTurf can be a little bit slippery. Pull the car back on track before the curb ends, and wait until the 50 meter braking reference goes off screen, then wait a split second longer and brake and turn into turn 7. You'll only want a short burst of around 50% brake pressure on the entry while downshifting to 5th gear. Hug the inside of the corner, using the camber of the turn to pull your car around. And once again, use as much exit curb as you need to help you accelerate early. Ascari is the next corner sequence, and this is the high speed left-right-left combination that can really catch you out in multiple ways. Pull your car to the right of the track on the approach and brake around 75 meters from the apex, right between the 50 and 100 meter boards. Turn in really early, positioning your car to cut the inside of the corner and shift down to 6th gear. You can start to accelerate before you even reach the apex and get as close to the inside sausage curbs as you can without touching them. Be incredibly cheeky with how much of the outside track you use between turns 8 and 9, but be sure to move your car back away from the inside sausage curves as you accelerate through turn 9. Turn 10 can cause a lot of issues if approached wrong. You'll want to cut the inside green apex, but make sure you miss the inside sausage curb. Accelerate at 100% input all the way through this corner and use as much of the exit runoff as needed while focusing on getting a good run out and towards Parabolica. The final challenge around Monza is turn 11 Parabolica, and this is a high speed corner where you'll be pushing the limits of your car's mechanical grip and the track limits. Brake extremely late at 50 meters and start to roll your car in towards the apex smoothly. Downshift to 6th gear as you slow and avoid the inside curb, which can cause a lot of instability if you touch it. As soon as you reach the curb, start accelerating hard, focusing on keeping your steering smooth and as open as possible. During a race, you'll naturally drift out towards the left of the track, but ensure you don't use too much of the runoff while accelerating. In a flat out time trial run such as this one, you'll have enough grip to hug the inside line, shortening your route towards the finish line. And that will round out a complete lap of Monza. This circuit is a real test of your car setup and mechanical grip. The heavy braking zones open up a lot of opportunity for overtaking, and mastering when you brake can really save a lot of lap time. You will have seen the throttle and brake traces throughout this track guide, and these have been provided by Track Titan. This is a tool that lets you analyse your laps in F1 24 and it can be used on console and PC versions of the game. I will leave a link to Track Titan in the description below, and they do have a free membership level if you want to try it out. But I've also got a discount code if you wish to sign up, which is Sim Racing Setup, and this will give you 50% off a Plus membership for 3 months. And you can also use this code if you decide to sign up for a free membership, and it will increase the amount of laps you can try during your first free trial month. For the car setup for Monza, you will want to lower your aero setup as low as you can get away with to maximise your top speed. Also focus on lowering your on-throttle differential to minimise wheel spin out of corners, and use a time trial style geometry setup. You can set up the suspension fairly aggressively to minimise body roll, and the lower your ride height, the less drag you'll feel down the straights. Due to those long straights, tyre temperatures aren't as much of an issue around Monza as they can be at some other tracks in F1 24, so we can even lower the tyre pressures. I'll leave a link in the description below to our full car setup for Italy in F1 24. But for now guys, enjoy this track, enjoy the race this weekend, and I will see you guys on track.